Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We are very grateful for this beautiful Ukrainian language. We do understand Polish and English, but it's very nice to hear our native Ukrainian language. So, the topic of our panel discussion has already been given, and during the conference we've already heard about many trends in the development of higher education in Poland and in Europe. So we can say that these trends are also reflected in Ukraine. In spite of the war taking place in our country, that has taken place for over 2 years now, the war as such actually has been going on for 9 years. But after what has happened on the 24th of February, turned our lives upside down. We have completely different conditions right now. The leading universities did not stop their operation even for 1 day, despite of the situation. The research or educational activities did not stop. Our association includes universities from different regions in Ukraine. I mean, the universities are spread over different regions, starting from the outbreak of the war on the 24th of February, after this brutal attack from the north and from the west. Our universities found themselves in different situations. So we set priorities for the short term, medium term, and long term. During the 21 months of the full-scale war, our priorities have evolved and changed. Currently, the most important issue is how we see the future, what our vision for our further actions to be taken to reconstruct the country will be like. Ukraine still operates, we gather potential, and we're discussing what perspectives we have now and what the reconstruction process will be like. From the point of view of three main functions. First of all, we need to continue our educational work. We need to restore the academic staff who are now spread all over the world as the result of the war. We need to think what to do in order to deepen the research and also check the impact of the war in Ukraine on the global order. And also we need to figure out what should be the role of universities for the local communities, regions, and countries. Actually, the universities located in the east and in the north of our country had to change their operation compared to what they did before the war. The Rector of Kharkiv Technical University, you were among the first ones to experience those horrible things that the whole nation felt after the 24th of February. Kharkiv is very close to the front line, but the university is still working. So how do you do that? How do you imagine the development of the potentials of your university? What are the priorities for your university? Well, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to this extremely important event. It is important from the point of view of Ukraine and Kharkiv Technical University. Let me tell you something about the university. It was established in 1885, and today we have approximately 15,000 students. Our university employed such researchers as Georgi Botezov, Antona Karlovich-Walter, who were the leading scientists for the atom nucleus issues. Currently, we have 585 academic workers, 913 people with PhD, which enables us to conduct education and research. Definitely the situation we are in now differs with what happened before. Right now we have remote education because actually the missiles would need 30 seconds to fly from Russia to Kharkiv. And therefore, well, we cannot risk the health and life of our academic staff and the rest of the employees or the students, and that's why we have online education. However, our scientists and researchers actually work at the university, and they actively perform their obligations. Despite the war, already today we have to work for our future, because when the war is over, it will be too late to start moving forward. We have to start the development now. That's why we have the entrepreneurship incubator at the suburbs of Kharkiv. We conduct research. We teach students, and we also have institutions responsible or units responsible for innovations. Of course, we do face problems. Although we have a large number of startups, it is very difficult for us to find financing to promote these startups. And I would like to say that we have very active international contacts. This year, we've been able to invite 516 students, foreign students, to study at our technical university. Currently, we have 1,180 students from abroad. Of course, they also are educated online, but we hope that after the war is over, these students are going to come back to our country. On these slides, you can see the destruction that has happened on the premises of our university. Fortunately, nobody was killed, but the equipment has been destroyed and the university buildings have been destroyed. So one of our priorities is to rebuild the campus and restore our research equipment. We are doing our utmost to achieve that. We've already done a lot ourselves. Here, for example, we've restored one of the rooms that already can go back to its old functions. Today, universities are not only occupied with reconstructing their buildings, but we are also very active in the reconstruction of our city. We provide technical solutions and engineers for the reconstruction of our city of Kharkiv. Today, for example, there is just one Olympic-sized swimming pool. And as you probably know, Ukraine is among the leading countries globally in many sports disciplines. So our athletes have to have a place to train. Out of 16 dormitories that our university has 10 have been destroyed. So when our students come back to the university, they will have to find a place to stay. Today, since there is still remote education, we're trying to restore the building, rebuild the buildings, the dormitories. So you can see the destruction in the city of Kharkiv. So we are really trying to restore the city infrastructure. So all the activities mentioned by Katarina are conducted in order for our students to have a place to come back to. Together with our German partners, we've introduced GS2 program for DSG2 program for our PhD students, for those who have problems with studying somewhere else, which results from the differences in the curricula. So first they are accepted at our university, they participate in a preparatory course, and then they can continue their studies in Germany. That project was launched last year. It's continued this year, and this is great support for our students who are now studying in Germany. And now there have been quite a lot of buildings have been rebuilt, and we have the starry heaven. This is the project to support graduates of our universities. We would like to all our students to shine like a star. Currently, our university is in the 6th position in Ukraine. This year, we've recruited 3.6 thousand new students, so we can continue our operation. We are following two tracks, as has already been mentioned. We have a lot of scientific publications, more than 500 a year, but we also have to focus on innovations. But for this, we need investors who will provide financing so that we can progress. What we've proposed to our city is an internal project, energy-saving Kharkiv. This is related to the destruction caused by Russian invasion. The power transmission networks have been partly destroyed, and that's why we need to create a new power transmission system for the city. Having cooperation between the university and the city, we try to meet the challenges. One of the main challenges is looking for financing. We are very active in the area of sustainable development. Well, you saw all the sustainable development goals. We also organize an annual scientific conference. It was also organized online with participation with Nobel Prize winners even. So we really are active. Let me also say that undoubtedly your support is important for us. We are moving forward also as far as digitization and innovative solutions are concerned. So we are active in education, in science, and what's most important, we do cooperate with our city. Without our support, engineering and technology support, the reconstruction of our city would be much more difficult. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rector. When presenting the photographs, when you presented the photographs, I was thinking about the trend which is called universities without walls. I mean, in Sumy or in Kharkiv, this may gain a new meaning, which is related to what was destroyed by the war. We are first going to rebuild the physical brick and mortar walls in order for the universities later on to be able to function without walls. I would like to mention Kharkiv here because this city is of key importance. That also faces very important challenges related with the missiles flying over the city, etc. So we've heard about the Sustainable Development Goals today. How do these goals, what roles do they have in the reconstruction of universities? This is the question to Tetiana Fesenko from the National University of Radio Electronics in Kharkiv. How can our universities implement these goals?
On behalf of myself and the Lord Chancellor of our university, I want to express my thanks for this invitation. But first of all, I would like to describe our work after the 24th. All our situation has changed. The work of the university was, since that time, it relied on digital technologies. We got a lot of assistance from our graduates, our partners, and just the great support in recreating our human potential came from international collaboration, in which our lecturers and students were deeply involved. We had a number of talks in which the university in Kharkiv showed intensified activities in teaching, in educating our students at our university. So we address these challenges in a way we can, proportionately to our potentials. We are producing reports on how these goals have been implemented, and despite some mishaps, we are trying to carry on and reach some progress. The application of new technologies guarantees that this sustainable development will continue. An extra support has gone to establishing, creating some new programs and to the inclusivity of the university community, the equality of genders, the modules, which explaining the needs of different groups or individuals with some limited mobility abilities. And that was the source not only of the development of the teaching process, but also of the emergence of startups established by our students, especially in the IT area. IT companies which stayed in our town, did not leave, show a very strong attachment to the sustainable development goals. They have their own programs in corporate responsibility. They organize competitions for students. They involve students in IT technology applications, the robotics, big data technology as well, in order to implement these responsibilities towards the society. And I would like to also to say that the inclusive approach to the operations of the technical university is of great importance, because our students not only have to understand how to build some devices, but they also need to see not only the users of their inventions, but just human beings as well. That helps them to function in the professional communities. We are trying to expand and intensify cooperation with Polish and other European universities so that we can reach some standardization of the educational platforms accessible to all the interested parties of this educational community. So we hope to win, and we hope for the better times to come. Thank you very much for your contribution. We share all these conclusions that you've shared with us. The inclusivity, reaching the sustainable goals, all that is being implemented in Ukrainian university. We are marching on. And now some other city which has suffered some destruction, physical destruction, not spiritual, of course. And I think the town of Sumy, another town in Ukraine, which geographically is close to the northern border, the Russian border. So my question, Mr. Rector, Mr. Karpusha, University of Sumy, you are a huge university. You are continuing you're carrying on the education process. You have very good indicators, KPIs, but you are working under wartime conditions. So what are the challenges you have to face? I have the pleasure to be here at this conference today. Our subject is, the reconstruction. This is the key word here. But we also have to think about continuation and expansion. Just 5 kilometers from the enemy's border. All of that is over 500 kilometers long. At noon time, Russian tanks came to our town. It was surrounded for 1 month, but the university kept the business as usual. We paid salaries, we had the supplies of the required medicines, etc. But why I am mentioning the expansion and reconstruction so strongly, because it was very interesting to hear what was said at the previous panels and the discussion between the Polish Ministry of Education and the discussion of the rectors. These were very interesting discussions, of course. They are quite similar to what you could hear from Ukrainian university chancellors. We have a lot in common, a lot of subjects to solve in similar ways. Poland has done some of those already. Poland is an interesting country to us because we started to build our quality assurance system in cooperation with the Warsaw University. And in that collaboration helped us to use the Warsaw University's questionnaire in our place. But as regards the reconstruction and expansion of the Ukrainian universities, I must say that much depends on the international integration of the university communities. The city of Sumy is in the avant-garde of building science and culture in that region. Support that can be given to the university, well, it's required in helping our scientists to go back to the university. We increase funding of scientific research. During the war, we have managed to increase this financing by 30%. We did not cut it. We just increased funding. See, there are different types of orders related to the war. We have 57 specialties at our university. We've got grants, international grants as well. We have the Horizon Europe grant. So that allows our researchers to continue their work in different fields. And I think that later this year, our budget will be about 20% higher by the end of the year, thanks to those jobs that we do. We are on the short list of world universities, top world universities. And one more thing I want to mention is that we cannot change our neighbor. It is as it is, but there is a security issue. This is number one issue for us. A rocket, a missile, needs 4 minutes to reach our town. And the university, the medical university, and we have it, and we have other departments as well, but we cannot work online. We can only do intramural studies, so that we are focusing on providing good conditions for such training and studies. That will be possible under the special project that we already have in place. And you also need some shelters, where you can continue teaching. Finally, 250 people well, that's the population of our town, 12,000 of students before the war, 2,150 foreigners from many countries. Today we've got some 500 international students, and clearly that these were medical students, and medical studies are impossible online, right? So the university, unfortunately, the university is such a university. Well, of course, it helps to develop the city, taxes, etc. That's why we regret that we lost some of the international students. As regards the energy saving programs, yes, we are implementing them. The city of Sumy was the machine building industry center. So we have a dedicated machine building department at our university. We cooperate with business, not only local business, but Ukraine-wide machine building industry. And this is only beginning now. One of the first projects we got funding for is support to municipalities in the wide range of the aspects of life. For instance, we teach them how to write an application for grant, and the range. The conditions in which our municipalities operate are very much different from one another. So close to the Russian border, many of them had to be evacuated because the Russians could just destroy those villages by ordinary cannon shelling. That's why some of them had to be evacuated. There are a lot of subversion groups infiltrating our territory, our border zone areas. So cooperation with the local governments is very important because of all that. Right now, our district is building centers of support to local governments to study the migration flows and all sorts of other projects that we are carrying out. But as regards the construction, reconstruction, and expansion, well, we are a stable organization. It's functioning. From the very beginning of the war, one of the campuses organized a defense center in which included chancellors of the university and other teachers, and they were armed and they defended our city. Some of them do not work for the university anymore because they are now uniformed troopers, but a lot of our graduates are helping us now. So our university will continue working, and it will be a shining point among our universities. Thank you very much for what you have said. We are reconstructing and building new ones based on the rules that have been already prepared. I'm happy that we all together recognize all these trends. You mentioned the association and the processes in Europe. Some of these processes took part in Europe a little bit earlier, but anyway, internationalization and that practice also takes place in Ukraine. And of course, university integration processes are also seen in Ukraine. That will give us more strength and more possibilities. Our task now is to build and shape the human potential, the human resource that will help us to rebuild and develop our country. And now let's go to the central Ukraine. In our university, we are also offering different didactic projects for those who have stayed in Kyiv and can continue their work. We also have to study the impacts of the war on the ecological things.
We're talking about water and air pollution, contamination of water and air. This all needs to be studied. We also should have research related to psychological support. Unfortunately, people experience war traumas, so they do need support. The civilians, but also soldiers. We need to educate war psychologists, and we need to have the centers that would focus on trying to heal the war trauma. So this will be one of the priorities of our research. This will be our innovation, to investigate the processes or to study the processes that exist in nature. And of course, we are going to use new technologies. All this enables the young people who went abroad and who found shelter with our Western partners. Of course, they do stay in touch with their universities on Ukraine. So hopefully they will implement new priorities together with us. Now let's move closer to Poland. The university is located the closest to the Polish border. This is where we frequently go. This is the university in Lviv, Franko National University of Lviv. It is located pretty far from the front line, but it's also like a forerunner. So what are the priorities for a Western Ukrainian university? This is the question to Professor Vitaliy Kukharskyy, the Pro-Rector or Vice-Rector from the National University in Lviv. What are the priorities, the current priorities of your university related to reconstruction or development of Ukraine? And how do you operate with the challenges that you are facing? Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I have an honor and a pleasure to participate in this conference. For us, this is a new format of cooperation. I think that it's also something new for you that we are part of this 9th conference. This conference is taking place a year before the anniversary conference. Hopefully the 10th edition will be organized when Ukraine has already won the war, and hopefully this conference can be organized in Ukraine. I'm convinced that this will happen, but for this we need a lot of support. When we're talking about the University of Lviv, it's in a much better situation compared to Sumy University or in Kyiv or Kharkiv. So we feel kind of uncomfortable. I'm really very impressed by the discussions that are taking place in Poland regarding the law on higher education. And I'm really impressed by the great interest in these topics. You're mentioning digitization of the Polish universities, and that there are activities undertaken by the Ministry of Education and Science related to digitization. I hope that digitization will be the trend that will also involve Ukraine and will include Ukraine. Thanks to digitization, Ukraine will be included in the European processes. Ukraine already has these possibilities, and discussions are going on. Well, talking about digitization, it impacts all the processes in our university. The quality of education, research, application of artificial intelligence, and also all aspects of university management or university administration. All this, everything depends on how successful digitization is and what modern technologies will be implemented. We're doing this at different Ukrainian universities. During the COVID-19 pandemic, as was said during one of the previous panel discussions, led to acceleration of digitization of universities. In Ukraine, we had double motivation because that was COVID-19 pandemic and now the war. So of course we need digitization. We cannot stop educating our students. And I know that the cloud technology is widely used in Ukraine for education and for management, university management. Many universities operate online. We, as the University of Lviv, also do a lot in this respect. We also operate online, just as Polish universities. We try to use the opportunities. Let me also emphasize that we are implementing all those activities in the university because we do realize that without the universities, reconstruction and development of our country will not be possible. Universities will definitely support reconstruction of Ukraine after we win. We realize that, and that's why we try to create appropriate conditions for the development of our country. Lots of reforms will be needed. Our Polish colleagues know very well that Ukraine is doing pretty well as far as the digital services are concerned at the level of the state. We have the DIA project, for example, and we also have the state in a smartphone program. In Ukraine, we have quite well-developed system of digital banking, and this is also related to serious development of IT, of the IT industry in our country. A very important thing at the moment is that the industry has become the second industry in our country. Of course, it has also suffered losses related to the war, but since this is a global industry, it has an opportunity to continue its development. We are happy that we can work with the IT companies. This is a very creative industry, and it concerns different areas of our life, outsourcing, but also commerce. And what is also very seriously developed in our IT companies, it's very good that they can work on what is important for the state of Ukraine. Many of them work with defense technologies, so they react to the challenges caused by the war. We also have trainings related to construction of drones. We need to secure competitiveness of our country. We know that in the eastern part of the country the situation is very difficult. We do not have enough resources for radio location combat. But of course we're doing our utmost to improve our situation so that we can win the war, including the technology war. We do need support from abroad. We feel the support provided by our Polish colleagues. We know how much Poland is doing to support us. Thank you very much for welcoming us in the European Association. It is very important for us to get internationalized, and all research which is related to Erasmus. There are also other important programs. Thanks to the cooperation with our universities, well, all those universities that are represented here have some links to Polish universities. So we hope that thanks to our Polish friends, we are going to join different research programs. I mean, the rectors who took floor before did not mention money as a problem for the universities. But let me mention that all of our universities lost practically half of their financing because of the war. As the rector of the Sumy University has said, they found resources for research, and thanks to that they are able to survive. But we would like to have even more resources. I would like to thank all people present here. Thank you for supporting our country. Thank you for letting us have this panel discussion in Ukrainian. Thank you so much. Well, I understand that we have very limited time, but I think we should discuss what has changed. For example, the internationalization of our universities has intensified. Before the 24th of February, we had very ambitious plans related to construction of the new campus, new dormitories. We've already chosen the Inter-Hub Med project. We wanted to build an interdisciplinary campus. And after the 24th of February, all funds were redirected for military purposes. And that was it. So at the moment, we don't have the possibility to build what we wanted to build before. When analyzing this year, and when we know that we need support, and thanks to the support received by our people, we can now plan the future. Of course, we have to build, we have to develop in order for the universities in our country to contribute to reconstruction and development of Ukraine. Well, these processes of course impact what's happening in universities. Let me finish with a quote from Nelson Mandela. Our weapon that we have is knowledge. And this is the weapon that can change the world. The question is asked whether we should receive support. Having the knowledge, we can operate. With the knowledge, with the skills that we provide to the next generations, to our students, they will be the ones to reconstruct and develop the country as well as themselves. I would like to thank all the panelists. It was a great pleasure for me to have this conversation. We could continue for hours, but of course the time is limited. And I would like to thank our Polish colleagues for giving us the opportunity to exchange the views and opinions. Thank you for hearing what we are saying. Thanks to that, we can build our priorities for the medium and long-term perspective.